Today we'll be getting into what Walt Disney World and Universal do best when it comes to their respective Orlando resorts. Hello and welcome to the Let's Go to the Parks podcast. I'm Oliver.
And I'm Lucy.
Today is Sunday, June 28th, and you're listening to episode 146, Disney and Universal, What Each Does Best. Before we get into today's main topic, here's what's going on in the parks right now. It was a busy week news-wise in the parks, so Disney announced a ton of Christmas season news, like all of their holiday offerings basically coming back for 2026. That's what we heard about this week. So first off, the holiday season, just like in general, is going to run November 13th through January 6th. That's when you can expect, to see like most of the Christmas decorations already being pretty much complete, or kind of around that November 13th date, right? Pretty much everywhere on property. It's going to be up even earlier than that at Magic Kingdom because Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party is back for 2026, as we knew it would be. It runs on select nights from November 8th through December 22nd. Disney Jollywood Nights, which is at Hollywood Studios, is also returning, and it's going to run on select nights from November 7th through January 5th, which is actually surprising to see dates into January because that's not happened since its inaugural season, I guess you could say, in 2023. It's always ended in December.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll make it more of like even a New Year's thing.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like in terms of the offerings, I think we can expect it to be similar things from years past.
True.
But it's just nice that, guests have, I guess, that much more time to experience the festivities if their trip falls just later in the season.
Absolutely.
Tickets for both events go on sale for guests with resort stays on July 9th and all other guests on July 16th. Epcot Festival of the Holidays is going to run November 27th, which is basically right when Food and Wine ends, all the way through December 30th. The Cookie Stroll, the Candlelight Processional, Holiday Storytellers, Holiday Kitchens are all returning for this year. The Merry Menagerie, which is like those kind of Christmassy or wintry puppets at Animal Kingdom, they're back for this year, as well as the Tree of Life Awakenings, the Holiday Edition. And ride overlays, right? So think like Jingle Cruise, special meet and greets, like holiday themed meet and greets, specialty merch, of course, snacks, and much, much more. And kind of on a more subtle or quiet note, so Disney announced that the big gingerbread house that normally goes up at Grand Floridian every holiday season is not returning for this year and likely not again, which is a big bummer. So it was always super impressive to see because it was like a life-size gingerbread house that like there was actually a pop-up store inside of it. So big enough for people to walk in and out of. And yeah, it was just super it's impressive. It was a tradition for us when we were visiting during the holiday season to go check it out and grab a snack from that pop-up store.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's a little bit disappointing, but Disney did say that smaller displays like gingerbread displays are going to be on offer at the resort in its place. So there will be something. It's just not going to be what we're used to seeing.
I will be very interested to see what that new kind of look will be.
Yeah, like I know, Beach Club, Yacht Club, for example, they have smaller displays. So maybe something like that. I guess we'll see.
Absolutely. Over in Disneyland, Haunted Mansion Holiday is coming back, of course, as well as It's a Small World Holiday, both amazing attractions that are even better during the holiday season. DCA is getting its usual holiday overlays in Cars Land. The castle will get its glow up as well, and of course, plenty of eats and merchandise as well. And then still at Disneyland, last Sunday, so a week ago today, actually, a guest fell off of their flume at Tiana's Bayou Adventure right before the big drop at the end. There are tons of videos circulating on social media, and it's absolutely wild. Luckily, that 13-year-old guest was not seriously injured and was released from hospital that same day. Somebody was looking over that kid because that's a good drop.
It looks scary, but
it's like he was trying to jump onto the rock and then he slipped. Yeah, who knows what happened?
Yeah.
This is honestly just a good reminder to keep a close eye on your kids, even the teenagers, and that all safety precautions are in place for guest safety for sure.
Of course, absolutely.
I'm sure this was a very tough one for Disney.
Yeah, absolutely.
Level 99 at Disney Springs is officially opening to all guests tomorrow or yesterday as this episode airs on June 29th. Initial impressions from the previews have been pouring in and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. There's games that's going to challenge you both mentally and physically, and it'll just be fun for the whole family. We will definitely be checking this out on our next trip for sure. Disney updated the My Disney Experience app, and you can now add Disney gift cards to your wallet right in the app and then use this as a payment option, which is great.
Awesome. Yep.
Previously, you had to enter the gift card number every single time you wanted to make a purchase. This is also extended to the Disneyland app and the Disney Cruise Line app as well. This is a very, very welcome change, and it's honestly a good quality of life update for the app and then just guest experience in general.
I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. It's going to be awesome, especially for things like mobile ordering.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely. And today, as we record this, the new Disney Springs transportation changes are taking effect. Okay, so a reminder that as of this moment, so guests will now need to show proof of a resort reservation, a dining reservation, or an experience reservation, right? So I don't think something like Sangria University over at Coronado Springs when boarding a bus or a boat from Disney Springs to the Disney resorts. It remains to be seen if this is solely for guests who are not staying on property. What we are hoping for is that guests who have a resort reservation anywhere can travel to any resort. So for example, if you're staying at Coronado Springs, can you take a bus or boat from Disney Springs to French Quarter, for example? That's TBD as of right now, right? We don't know. So we're going to report more on that next week once, initial impressions start pouring in from people who are actually there on property as we speak.
Yeah, I would think that if you were in the bubble, however way, shape, or form you are, that you should be able to go wherever you want.
Yeah, if you're paying to stay at a Disney resort.
Exactly.
So yeah, you're staying at Coronado, you're staying at Riviera, you're staying wherever, right? And that's the thing. You want to take a bus to French Quarter for some beignets, or you want to take a bus to Contemporary because after Disney Springs, you are hopping to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, we have done this plenty of times.
That's the thing. If you're paying to stay on, to your point, in the Disney bubble rather, I think that, yes, that should qualify, right? That you are staying on property, even though it's not at that specific resort.
Yeah.
So yeah, time will tell. And before we jump into today's episode, we wanted to share something exciting. So if you've seen our podcast art this week, as we speak, as you're listening to this episode, or our socials, you may have noticed that we've changed the name of our podcast. So after almost 3 years as Let's Go to Disney, we are now Let's Go to the Parks. So the name is changing, right? Or it's already changed. It's happened, right? But the podcast really isn't. So Disney is still our favorite destination, and you'll still hear plenty of Walt Disney World content, mostly Walt Disney World content, as you know, right? With some Disneyland and Disney Cruise Line kind of splashed in as usual. So, same, but different, but really not that different.
Yeah, honestly, the new name reflects just a little bit more of some of the other things that we like to talk about, whether that's Universal Orlando, Epic Universe, or wherever our travels might take us next, like the international parks and beyond.
Yeah, for sure.
Essentially, we wanted a name that better reflects where the podcast is headed while still staying true to what we've always been about. And that's helping you plan amazing Disney vacations, whichever resort destination you choose to go to.
Exactly. So don't expect anything majorly different.
Yeah.
If you love the content, if you love the podcast, we promise we're going to keep delivering what you're used to hearing. So essentially, new name, same game. So with that said, let's get into today's main topic, which will be a closer look at some of the things that Disney and Universal do best when it comes to their specific resorts in the Orlando area. So this is not going to be a versus episode, right? So it's not about declaring a winner or pitting these up against each other. Okay, that's not what it's about. We genuinely love both resorts. They just excel at different things, right? So it's really highlighting specifically where each of the resorts shine. So we've broken today's topics down in categories, and first up is theming and atmosphere. So overall, we'd say that Disney wins in this category. So the attention to detail just across the parks is just next level. Some examples of this is like the forced perspective on Main Street USA and Cinderella Castle. So the higher levels are actually smaller, right? They're not actually to scale, but you can't tell because they're higher up, and it just makes the buildings seem larger than they actually are, which is just super impressive and awesome.
Absolutely.
And then another thing is that you generally can't see from one land to another, right? So that just adds to the immersion of each land and being in each space.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's one of the things I love the most, is that I can't see what's going on in Main Street USA when I'm in Frontierland. Right?
Yes,
I just love that.
Yeah.
And then obviously too, the way that they do that is incredible too, right? So in some lands, it's buildings that are blocking your view, like in Tomorrowland.
Yeah, that's right.
And then in others, it's foliage and trees. In others, like in Adventureland, the trees and the foliage block the rest of the park from view, adding just to that immersion that you're kind of looking for. And this is used in the other parks as well. Like in Hollywood Studios, if you're in Galaxy's Edge, you cannot see the other sections of the park. And there's just a natural flow from land to land. Think from the music looping in the background to the color of the concrete. Everything is meant to reflect the land that you are specifically in. Animal Kingdom does this too. You don't see the other lands when you're in a specific space.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah.
And like I said, music is a thing too. So in Adventureland, you have this kind of like drum sound in an upbeat tone. And then in Tomorrowland, it's more of the tech noise.
Yeah.
I can honestly picture it when I'm riding on
I can hear it.
People
Yeah.
Movers. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I can't replicate it, but yeah, it just sounds futuristic, honestly, and I can picture it in my head right now. Pandora has a soundtrack with nature noises. It's beautiful in there.
Yeah.
You can you just get feels in there.
Love Pandora. Yep.
And then Epcot has a lovely loop when you're walking into the front of the park and then near Spaceship Earth and Connections.
I love the music at Epcot.
Yeah,
they
it's so
changed
good.
it when that whole front section was revamped. And yeah, it's just so good. Another thing too that is really well done at Disney is the landscaping. So for example, the flower arrangement at the entrance to Magic Kingdom is just stunning, right? And it changes throughout the seasons, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Animal Kingdom is a great example of this too. So the amount of greenery in that park is like almost overwhelming. Like you walk in and it's just green.
So true.
And yeah, it's beautiful and it really works in the space. The topiaries too at like Flower and Garden Festival, which comes around each spring, right? That's world class to me. The topiaries are works of art. The level of care and attention to detail is just unmatched. It's just next level. And on that note, the cast members in our experience are also next level. Okay. This is just us, but the cast members just tend to be a bit more engaged and just have a better kind of overall track record when it comes to customer service. This isn't to say that we haven't had, I guess you could say, like less than ideal interactions at Walt Disney World, but the vast overwhelming majority of the time, it's just great, right? It's phenomenal.
Yeah,
They're just
agreed.
awesome. We've had great cast members at Universal as well, but typically speaking, I guess you could say you just see a lot more
teenager behavior.
Yeah, like
I call it.
I would call it like I would say a relaxed attitude
Yeah.
towards guests, right? So for example, cast members are more likely to be just, chatting amongst each other than acknowledging that you're there, if that makes
Yes.
sense. Whereas at Disney, they tend to kind of put the guest in the spotlight, which is what people love and what gives Disney its reputation for that gold standard customer service, which they've earned, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've never seen Universal cast members being mean or anything
No,
like that to
no,
the
no.
public. They just tend to like they'll stand there with each other because they're probably all friends.
Yeah.
And I can hear them talking about like their outside life,
Yes.
which you would never hear at Disney, them talking about their outside life. Maybe a little bit more now than you've ever seen before.
but still, like
but still
generally,
it's very-
the illusion and
yes.
the theming is maintained.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
And then on the Universal side, it's not like they are slouches in the theming department. The level of immersion in the lands like Wizarding World of Harry Potter, all three sides, so Hogsmeade, Diagon Alley, and Wizarding Paris, all three of these lands are absolutely immersive.
So well done.
So well done.
Yeah,
like
some of my
I'm in
favorites
awe.
anywhere
Yeah.
in the world. Yeah.
And I still get in awe, and I've seen it many times now, and I'm still like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Every time I see the Hogwarts Castle, I'm
Hogwarts
just like,
Castle,
I get
and then
chills.
like the dragon
Yeah.
on Gringotts when you walk into Diagon Alley.
Yeah.
And it's
Absolutely.
Just, yeah, totally.
And then the individual portals at Epic Universe are also super well executed. Super Nintendo World is just really, really well done.
so
I
well
cannot
done.
even explain that one. Watching my son's face when he first walked in there the first time was really heartwarming because he couldn't believe he was like literally in his video game essentially. And like even when you go up the escalator to get into it, it's like doo-doo-doo, like that sound that you hear
like coming
like
out of
you're
the tunnels,
going through the tunnels. Like it's just very well done. And then Isle of Berk too, such a beautiful place. The soundtrack in there, absolutely amazing. It feels super immersive. And honestly, that was probably my favorite ride there is the roller coaster in there.
Yeah, Hiccup Swing Glider is so good. And like the like crystal blue water there, it is a beautiful land. I absolutely
and the
love
music. And then you even see like the little Hiccup dragon walking around and doing its thing, right? Like it's very cool.
Yeah, the Hiccup meet and greet. Yeah, exactly.
So for us, Disney is a better all-encompassing immersion from the moment you walk into the gates to everything in between. Whereas Universal, the park itself is just not quite as cohesive and immersive, but the individual lands department, that's definitely their forte, and they have some really, really great individual lands.
I totally agree with that. Absolutely. All right, next up, attractions. So both resorts have phenomenal attractions that we love. Walt Disney World, I think, has the market cornered on family attractions, right? So the amount of attractions that have either no height requirement or very low height requirements is huge. Well over half the attractions at Magic Kingdom have no height requirement at all. And the ones that do are pretty modest outside of Tron, which I think is 48 inches. And Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Epcot, each of these parks have coasters that do have height requirements, but they also have a healthy number of great attractions for people of all ages. They also have attractions that are really rooted in storytelling, I would say, right? So think attractions like Haunted Mansion, Pirates, Spaceship Earth, Navi River Journey, Flight of Passage, Rise of the Resistance, Tower of Terror, Soarin', Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. I could go on and on. There's
yeah, like
just
a
so
lot
many.
of these, there's a lot of pre-show, right?
Yeah.
You're not just getting on the ride and instantly taking off. Like there's even just the walkthrough in the lines. There is a story to be told, especially like Rise of the Resistance, Tower of Terror. Like you have to listen to a whole thing in a room before you go.
And like the cast member, like setting the scene and the ambiance of like.
Exactly. So like there is just a lot more to it.
Yep, absolutely.
And then they also have their very classic dark rides, family rides, more shows than you can count, especially that are at Broadway level performances.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Thrill rides, story rides, and there's just so much variety. But the flip side of that is that Universal excels at the thrill rides. I'm talking the roller coasters and the high energy attractions. So think Velocicoaster, Stardust Racers, The Mummy, which is one of my absolute favorite rides, Hulk. The bulk of their attractions have height requirements and just a more mature theming in general. Even the more relaxed attractions are themed to IP that will resonate a lot less with younger kids like King Kong, Transformer, Fast and the Furious, and Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Honestly, we're glad we waited with our kids because
sure.
like there's no denying that Walt Disney World is more of a family-friendly vacation, while Universal Studios is just generally better suited to families with older kids that are actually going to be tall enough to enjoy most of the attractions and be able to resonate with some of the IP at least.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Yep.
Our kids have been to Disney lots, but this past November was their first official trip to Universal Studios. And even our oldest, Caleb, who was 10, was just a little too short to ride the Hulk. Sophia has a bit of a bigger list of things that she couldn't ride. And she was 7, almost 8 when we were there.
Yeah, exactly. So
she would have been way too small if we had ever gone when we first started going to Disney with them.
For sure, absolutely. Disney just does a better job with variety and an emphasis on fun for all ages, right? Universal definitely has more of an emphasis on thrills, and I would say just generally speaking is better suited for, older kids or teenagers and just a more mature crowd.
Agreed.
All right, next up, let's talk food. So Disney, we'd say, has the better overall variety when you think of just the sheer number of snack, quick service, and table service options that they have on offer. Each park has several table service restaurants, quick service restaurants, snack locations. They have a ton of character dining experiences. So think like 1900 Park Fair, Ohana, Topolino's, Cape May Cafe. All their breakfasts are character meals. Storybook Dining at Artist Point, Cinderella's Royal Table, Akershus, Garden Grill, Hollywood and Vine, Tusker House, right? Just like those are just the ones that are coming to the top of mind. They have,
and those are all great options.
Super fun. And they have their signature restaurants as well, which are like, I guess they're fancier restaurants like California Grill, Hollywood Brown Derby, Tiffin's at Animal Kingdom. Like, again, like there's a lot of those as well, both in the parks and outside the parks of the resorts and Disney Springs. And on that note, Disney Springs just has in and of itself a ton of options, right? That dwarfs City Walk over at Universal.
I would agree with that, yes.
Plus, that we talk about this all the time, but the Epcot festivals with the food booths always brings like a ton of extra food on scene as well, because on average, the festivals have about 20 food booths, right? Each with several menu items in an already like food heavy park, I would say.
Very true. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's just so much variety.
It is our favorite park to snack in.
Yeah.
And like Oliver said, they just have so much more variety, right? At Disney, this is definitely their forte for sure. Whereas actually Universal shines in its simplicity of their booking system. There's not advanced dining windows. The dining scene just feels a lot more relaxed over there. We have never stressed over our dining reservations at Universal the way we have at Disney. It's just not a thing there.
That's right. Yep.
Plus, let's not discount City Walk. While it's nowhere near as extensive as Disney Springs, they honestly have some really good and fun options here as well, including my absolute favorite restaurant, Bubba Gump.
Yeah, and we know it's a chain and like they're found in other places, but we do like to visit it. Antojitos was good. Chocolate Emporium was also fun. Like with Jacques and I forget the name of the lady.
Oh, I can't remember now. Yeah.
But anyways, super fun environment there too. Yeah,
absolutely. Our kids, I think they enjoyed the food too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But all things being equal, Disney has to win with variety and then overall quality, we would say. Whereas Universal's strong point is just the simplicity of it all.
Like you said, simple booking system, less planning.
We appreciate
it's just
that.
much more straightforward. Yep.
All right, next up is resort hotels. So again, this is just another area where Disney wins in variety. It's the larger resort, and then by extension, it has way more options. Split between value, moderate, and deluxe, and then the DVC properties on top of that. The level of theming at some of these resorts is also just so great. Places like Art of Animation, Animal Kingdom Lodge, Wilderness Lodge, the Polynesian, and then also just the amount of transportation options with the monorail, Skyliner boats, which include the ferry boats, the Friendship boats, the Sasagula river boats, and then, of course, the bus system that rivals the size of the transportation system of the city of Atlanta, Georgia.
It's massive, like massive transportation system over there. Yep. Plus, just the immersion, I would say, like of being in the Disney bubble. There's literally nothing around the corner for just miles and miles when you're on Walt Disney World property, right? And that's by design. It just feels like home, like sheltered comfort.
Agreed.
The moment we get on property. Yeah, totally. Universal, on the other hand, has some good resorts as well. They recently shook up the names of their categories too. So now it's Signature Collection, which is their top tier and includes resorts that have the Unlimited Express, so Portofino Bay, Royal Pacific, and Hard Rock Cafe. The Prime Value, which includes Aventura, Stella Nova, and Terra Luna, and the Value Inn and Suites, which is their most budget-friendly options. The perks of staying at a Disney resort are great. There's no disputing that, but we love that the premier resorts, or rather, I guess the Signature Collection now is what they're called, offer the unlimited express passes to everyone on your reservation, including on your check-in and your checkout days. So the cost on average per night approaches deluxe level pricing at Disney. So think about $500 a night and sometimes more. But express passes can cost upwards of $200 per person, if not more. Especially during busier times, right? And that's per day. So the value to us is a no-brainer. We will always do one of these resorts when we visit Universal Orlando for this reason alone. If you plan on using express passes at all, that's the play for sure. Yep. Like the larger your party is, the more sense it makes. To us, it's a no-brainer. If you're getting Express Pass, you should 100% consider staying at one of the premier resorts.
Absolutely. And this is whether it's just the two of us or with the kids, we are for sure staying at these resorts every single time. Yep. We have always decided that we are just going to be a resorts family. We don't want to ever stay off property, whether that's at Universal or Disney.
Agreed.
I'm not saying we'll never, but we prefer it.
No, and as long as we
budget for that.
And as long as Universal Express Unlimited is a thing at these resorts, we will always book there. Yeah.
I would say that they win in that section just alone, right? Like I get really excited knowing I'm going to have the express passes from there.
Yep.
Okay, next up, let's talk transportation. So we obviously touched on it a little bit already, but the variety of transportation options is where Disney shines. The resort is the size of the city of San Francisco, and their transportation system is extensive and so convenient. And then the best part of it, it's free. The monorail connects Magic Kingdom to the TTC, the monorail resorts to Magic Kingdom, and Epcot to the TTC, and then by extension, Magic Kingdom. Yep. The Skyliner connects Epcot and Hollywood Studios, and then all of the Skyliner resorts, so everything at the Boardwalk, plus Riviera, Caribbean Beach Resort, Art of Animation, and Pop Century. A ton of resorts are connected by boat, everything on Seven Seas Lagoon and Bay Lake, the Disney Springs resorts, the Epcot area resorts, and Epcot itself and Hollywood Studios. Everything else is covered by their massive, huge bus system. And then failing all of that, several resorts are actually walkable to the parks. The Disney resorts are also connected by magic bands to your room doors, which isn't a necessity, but it's just certainly fun to have. I would say probably over half the people that go to Disney get magic bands. And you can get different levels. You don't have to get their super expensive ones. Yeah,
like the bland ones are cheaper, but like I don't know what the stats are on it, but we have magic bands.
We're sucker for them.
They go into our carry-on luggage, and basically the moment we land in Orlando, we pop them on our wrist and they stay on basically for the entirety of our trip.
And granted, I'm only on my second band.
Yeah.
And I love mine. It's a mini one. It's purple, which is my favorite color. I will keep that one forever unless it stops working on me.
Yeah, for sure. And we've had them for a few years already. I have the 4 Parks Icon one, which I love. I have no reason to switch it. Yeah, Caleb has a Mickey one, and Sophia has a Princess one.
And they don't care.
No, they love theirs.
Yeah, they love theirs. Yeah.
And on the Universal side, the original campus has several resorts that are accessible either by foot or water taxi. And if not, they also have a bus system as well. It's convenient, easy to use, and also free. And like we said, we always stay at the premier resorts, and these are walkable, right? So
we actually enjoy that walk in the morning.
For sure. That's to the original parks.
Yeah.
And over near Epic Universe, you've got the Helios Grand and Stella Nova resorts that are walkable to that park. And they've got buses as well to City Walk and the original campus. Long story short, neither resort is going to leave you stranded, right? You're going to be able to get to where you want to go from wherever you choose to stay, whatever resort, either Universal Resort or Disney Resort.
Yeah.
We will say that Disney transportation has the edge. It's just that good.
Agreed.
Yeah. Next up is technology. So quite simply, the My Disney Experience app is the superior app for sure. It's just so user-friendly and intuitive. The functionality for the most part is flawless. It's constantly getting upgraded as well just to add better features. Like, we talked about it in our news, right? The fact that you can now pay with a gift card right in the app.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just improves quality of life for the end user, which is us, right? Which is just great to see. We're glued to this app when we're on property and in the weeks leading up to our trip. And I'm always checking it for like wait times and perusing trips that we won't take or that we will take. And but anyways. And then of course you do book it to book lighting lanes, mobile order food, retrieve your PhotoPass photos when you're on property, join walk-up wait lists for restaurants, map bathrooms and water fountains. You name it, this app does it.
Yeah, absolutely. The My Disney Experience app is great and we do love it. Now, the Universal app is okay, but to be fair, it's just not as crucial over at Universal like it is at Disney. So, for example, you don't need the app to book express passes. You just go when you want to. So you don't need it in that way. You can use it for mobile ordering as well if you want to, similar to the way it's done at Disney. So that is a similar feature for sure. We will say, though, that it's not as integrated or as intuitive to use as the My Disney Experience app is.
Right. Yep.
A good example of this is split stays. So if you have a split stay booked, you can't currently link both reservations to your app, which is actually kind of annoying and then something that should 100% be workable in 2026.
Agreed. Yeah.
It just feels like Universal is not as reliant on their app, so they don't put as much thought or effort into it, which isn't a bad thing. It's just different.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to be on your phone as much in Universal Studios.
You certainly don't. Yeah, and like the big thing is lighting lanes, right, or express passes rather, is that like you said, you swipe your card, you don't have a return time, so you don't have to book that, so you just go when you want. Yeah.
I feel like I'm hardly ever on my phone except for taking pictures.
Yeah.
What we will say though is that what they lack in tech, they make up for in the simplicity with express passes. No pre-booking, no return times. You can go when you're ready. So that's a nice thing for sure. Just in a general sense, Universal is just a much more chill vacation to plan. We don't feel the same pressure when planning Universal than when we do planning Disney.
Yeah, for sure. And it's all relative, right? Like planning Disney is more involved. I think there's no disputing that, but it's planning Disney, which is more fun than planning pretty much anything else.
Agreed.
All right, next up, entertainment. So this is another area where Disney wins in variety, quality, and just sheer number of offerings. So there are nightly fireworks at Magic Kingdom and Epcot and nightly showings of Fantasmic at Hollywood Studios. Each park has standing shows, so think like Beauty and the Beast live on stage, the Frozen Sing-Along, Villains Unfairly Ever After, Little Mermaid, that's all at Hollywood Studios, Festival of Lion King and Finding Nemo at Animal Kingdom, among many, many others. You also have the Epcot festivals throughout the year that each have their own like show series. So think like Garden Rocks concert series, the Eat to the Beat concert series, Disney on Broadway concert series, and then the Candlelight Processional, right, at Christmas time. You have daily parades and cavalcades, right, including the new nighttime parade at Magic Kingdom's Starlight. You have a ton of character meet and greets, and then just general streetmosphere like the Jammers at Epcot or the performers at Animal Kingdom, both on Discovery Island and the Africa section. And yeah, just the performers around the world showcase like in Italy and Japan.
Yep.
There's just like many, many others. There's always something going on. And then, of course, they also have their extra ticketed events throughout the year. So Disney After Hours events, right? Which is like after the park is closed, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, Jollywood Nights. And then another thing too that just popped in my mind, the whole Run Disney World, right?
Yeah.
So 4 Run Disney events throughout the year, which is a massive draw and draws massive crowds, right? So they have the marathon weekend in January, the Princess Half in late February, they have the Springtime Surprise in April, and then the Wine and Dine in October. So yeah, lots going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Over at Universal, you do have some offerings in terms of entertainment, but just nowhere near the level of Disney. There are some shows like the Born Stuntacular, the Horror Makeup Show, the Untrainable Dragon, and the show in the Wizarding World in Paris at Epcot. I can't say that one. And then smaller performances as well, like the Celestina Warbeck and the Banshees and the Tales of Beetle the Bard, the Frog Choir, and the Ollivanders Experience. And then there's also the Universal Mega Movie Parade. That's a fun one to watch.
Yeah, we caught that on our last trip. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. There's also sometimes the Hogwarts Always, which is a nighttime projection show on Hogwarts Castle. Epic is also soon getting a nighttime fireworks show, Celestial Good Night, set to debut soon in early July.
Yeah, hoping to check that out in September.
Yeah, absolutely. There's also some character interactions as well, like the pharaohs over by the Mummy. Those are the guys with the big stilts that are walking around.
Yeah, exactly.
Shrek and Donkey like to make an appearance. The Minions, Marvel superheroes, and Hiccup and Toothless.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier. Yeah.
They also host Halloween Horror Night every single year, which is really popular. So much fun. Highly recommend it.
Yep.
Mardi Gras in the springtime, and then they do holiday offerings as well. There are some solid offerings there for sure, but Disney does entertainment best for sure, in our opinion.
Yeah, it's just like we said, right? Just in the sheer number and the quality and the consistency. I don't know what it is, right? The entertainment, I think, is just far and away better at Walt Disney World. And it's not to say it's not great at Universal because, all things being equal, it's better than in most other places. But Disney is just, it's just next level.
Yeah.
Next up is kids. So we touched on this earlier, so we won't go super in depth here, but Disney wins, right? So we mentioned it earlier, but when you think about like the character meet and greets, the character meals, the attractions, the shows, the resorts, everything at Disney just screams family fun and entertainment. You can take your toddlers to Disney and, just basically rest assured that there's a ton for them to do and enjoy. And, you're not worried about height requirements. You're not worried about are they going to have fun? Are they going to enjoy it? It's meant for them. A lot of offerings are meant for them.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
For sure. Universal wins for older kids and teens, right? With just like Lucy was saying, the more mature theming. So think Harry Potter, Jurassic Park, Transformers, The Mummy, like Men in Black, right? And of course, just way more thrill rides.
They even have a whole Simpsons land there, which is pretty appealing to teenagers
older
that
kids,
watch it.
For sure. Yeah.
We did notice that on our last trip, Caleb, who is now 11, was itching for the faster rides, and he really did have a blast at Universal.
Yeah, he really did. Yep.
Again, not to say that there isn't fast thrill rides at Disney, because there is. Guardians of the Galaxy, the best ride on the planet, in my opinion.
For sure. Tron,
yeah. But there is just many more of them at Universal. Even City Walk feels like a little bit more adult. The whole resort just feels like it's geared more to an older crowd, and we don't have the stats on it, but visits seem to reflect that too. I've even had like friends who said, we used to do Disney with our kids, but now they only want to go to Universal.
Yeah, I would say that's accurate, right?
Yeah.
And like when you are walking around Universal, it just has a feel that there's just more adults there. There's more older kids there, way more than at Disney for sure. Yeah.
Next up is value. Disney is more suited to longer vacations, although Universal is starting to bridge that gap with Epic Universe.
For sure.
But Disney still wins here for sure. You can easily get a week at Disney in, whereas you're probably starting to stretch it out a little bit at Universal if you're there for a week. There's more to explore with the 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, Disney Springs, golf courses, mini putt, ESPN wide world of sports, run Disney events. You can really fit a lot into a week, and you'll barely have made a dent in our opinion.
I know we've been many times and we're still experiencing new things all the time. Over at Universal, you can definitely get most of the resort done, we'd say, in a long weekend, right? So like 4 days with a couple of days at the original parks, a day at Epic Universe with express passes, obviously, and then that 4th day at Volcano Bay if you wanted to kind of squeeze in a water park during your visit.
Yeah.
City Walk is awesome to visit, but it's on a smaller scale than Disney Springs. The pros for Universal, in our opinion, is that it's easier to make into a shorter trip, right? So by extension, that takes less planning, and it can, not always, be less expensive because of that. But that's very much depending on how you do the parks and where you decide to stay. And are you doing express passes? Because that's going to fluctuate a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've spent more at Universal for a shorter trip than we have at a week at Disney. Your mileage is just going to vary depending on how you vacation.
Exactly.
And what you choose to do during that time.
Yep.
All right. And for our last round, we thought we'd end this one on a bit of a fun note. So if you could steal one thing from Disney to bring to Universal, what would that be?
The festivals.
Oh, yeah.
So So if I could bring anything, it would be the seasonal festivals from Disney to Universal, because I think it would just add so much value to Orlando Resort as a whole.
Absolutely.
They could theme it to, and I'm of course drawing parallels with Disney here, but they could do like Mardi Gras in the spring, right? Christmas, obviously they already have a Christmas decor, but they could do Christmas booths, right? And then everything pumpkin spice over in the October season.
Yep.
And, loop in Hogwarts, because it definitely has more a, holiday season kind of vibe. And there's a lot there. And I think that they could really do a lot with that, something like that. Yeah.
I would agree with you completely. That's a fun one.
And what about you? So the flip side, what would you steal from Universal to bring to Disney?
Oh, 100% their express passes. They win hands down on being able to do rides all the time.
Yeah.
As much as I do like the Lightning Lane system, and we have mastered the system, or I feel like we have.
For sure. Yeah.
I just love the freedom and simplicity of the Universal Express Pass. And if it was something that would be included in a deluxe resort stay, for example, that would just be more worth it in my opinion. Like, I absolutely love that with the Universal Express Pass, you can ride the ride as many times as you want.
Yeah, I think, and I think that would be reasonable. Like, you're paying, $500, $600, $700 a night, if not more, to stay at the deluxe resorts. So if you would have the equivalent of Lightning Lane Premier Pass included, that would be awesome.
I feel like one day Disney will do that.
They might.
They're going to see the competition that people prefer.
Maybe.
I think most people would prefer the Universal version.
Yeah, except that right now they have deluxe level pricing and Premier Pass, and it's selling. So that's a lot of money. I don't know why they turned that down, but anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay, and I thought we would wrap up today with a few quick fire questions. So it's either going to be Disney or Universal. Those are your only options.
That's fair.
And it's just quick. Disney or Universal. And if you want, you can start.
All right. Best first trip.
Disney. Best food.
Disney. Best attractions.
Disney. Best hotels.
Disney. Oh no, poor Universal. Best value.
Disney. Best transportation.
Disney. Best Halloween.
Disney.
Except for HHN.
No, to me, Mickey's Not So Scary is much nicer. Yeah. Best Christmas.
Disney.
Yeah, Mickey's Very Merry Jollywood Nights. Yeah, it's so magical.
Just everywhere in the parks is amazing. Best adults only trip.
I would say Universal.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yep.
That's the one that I would give it to them for sure.
Yeah. Best family trip.
Disney.
Yeah, for sure.
Best thrill seekers.
Universal.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. And best relaxation.
Honestly, probably Universal for me, just because it is a very chill park.
Yeah.
But now that we have calmed ourselves a little bit at Disney, we are not so go 24/7.
Yeah. But you got to pick one.
Universal.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was fun. So we'll close with, what essentially comes down to is that both resorts just have a ton to offer. They're very different and they have different strengths and weaknesses, but both are absolutely 100% worth your time and money and, working into your vacation plans at some point during your life. But the main theme of today is basically if your priority is family fun and, total immersion, we'd say Disney, right? If your priority is thrills and simplicity of planning, we'd recommend Universal.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. And if, you are blessed to be able to go for maybe 2 weeks, do them both. We've done it. And it is the best 2 weeks we had. Like when we went in September of 2022, I think it was 2022.
Yeah.
It was just you and I. And I would do this with the kids too. We just haven't had the opportunity. It's hard to take the kids out of school for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, for sure.
It was so much fun to do Disney and Universal.
Yeah, we started Universal, or we started at Disney rather, and then we moved it to Universal. But, we did something similar just in November, right? We did 4 days at Universal, and then we did a Disney cruise.
You're right. So
and it's not park to park, but it is, Disney to Universal.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, totally. With that said, thank you for joining us today to talk Disney and Universal. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And as always, if you could leave us a rating and review, it would be greatly appreciated. If you choose to do so, you can leave reviews right on Apple Podcasts. And for Spotify, you can leave a rating.
You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at letsgo.totheparks, as well as on our Facebook page, Let's Go to the Parks. We share some helpful reels here as well as some fun ones. The link tree in the show notes has been updated and it'll take you to all of our socials.
Have a great day and we'll see you real soon.